you're in an interview or a first date, or you're saying something you're not certain about to someone whose opinion matters, and somewhere in the middle of it, you become aware of your own eyes, not what you're looking at. The blinking, you notice you're doing it too much. And the instant you notice, it gets worse because now you're monitoring it, and monitoring it is not the same as controlling it. So you try to hold your eyes open, which is worse because now you look strange in a different way. And underneath all of it is one specific fear, that the other person can see it, that your face is broadcasting something you were trying to keep inside. Here's what's actually happening. Your fear is not irrational. They probably can see it because your eyes are built unusually, almost uniquely among animals to be red. Start with the assumption everybody has because it's wrong in an interesting way. You blink to keep your eyes wet. That's the reason we're all given, and it's true. And it is nowhere near the whole story. Here's the problem with it. Your eyes need far less blinking than they get. Estimates vary, but the amount of blinking required to keep the surface of your eye healthy is a fraction of what you actually do. You blink something like 15 to 20 times a minute, roughly every 3 or 4 seconds, all day, forever. Add that up, and it's tens of thousands of times a day. Vastly more than lubrication requires. So the question isn't why you blink, it's why you blink so much more than you need to. Something else is using this system. Before we get to what? Sit with what a blink actually is. When you close your eyes, you lose vision, obviously. But you don't experience it as loss. There is no flicker, no shutter, no dark frame. Your visual world is continuous, and it is not. Your brain suppresses what happens during the blink and stitches the two sides together so smoothly you have never once caught it doing it. Add up all those blinks across a day, and you have spent a meaningful amount of your waking life functionally blind, and you have no memory of a single second of it. And here's the part that genuinely surprised researchers. During a blink, activity in certain parts of the brain associated with internally directed attention briefly goes up. A blink isn't just a shutter closing. It looks like a tiny disengagement, a momentary step back from the outside world, which starts to explain why you don't blink randomly. Here's a finding I think about a lot. When people listen to someone speak, they tend to blink at particular moments, not evenly spaced, clustered at the ends of sentences, at pauses, at the points where information naturally breaks. And when a group of people watch the same video, their blinks synchronize, not because they're copying each other, because they're all reaching the same conclusion at the same moment about when it's safe to stop looking. Think about how sophisticated that is. Some part of you is continuously judging when nothing important is about to happen and spending your blinks there. Your blinking is not noise, it's punctuation. It marks where your attention released. And that is exactly why it changes the moment you're nervous. When you're under stress, your whole arousal system shifts. Heart rate, breathing, muscle tension, and along with all of it, blink rate tends to rise. There's also a deeper link. Blink rate appears to track, loosely, with the activity of one of the brain's main signaling chemicals, the same one involved in reward, movement, and attention. It's a rough index, not a precise measurement, but it means your blinking is wired into systems far below the level where you make decisions, which is why the moment you noticed it in that interview, you couldn't stop. You were trying to consciously override an output control by machinery you have no direct access to. You can hold your eyes open for a few seconds. You cannot control your blink rate the way you control your hand. And so it leaks. Now, here's where I want to correct something. because it's one of the most widely repeated claims about human behavior, and the research points the other way. You have heard that liars blink more. It's in films. It's in interrogation folklore. It's the kind of thing people say confidently at dinner parties. And studies looking at this have found something close to the opposite, at least during the lie itself. Lying is cognitively expensive. You have to invent, monitor, remember what you said, and watch the other person's reaction. And when you're concentrating hard, blink rate goes down. So during the actual deception, blinking often drops. Then, when the difficult part is over, there's a rebound, a flurry of blinking afterwards, noticeably above baseline, which means the popular rule isn't just imprecise. It's pointing at the wrong moment. And this matters more than a trivia correction, because for a very long time, people have been staring at faces and believing they could see the truth in them. Which brings us to the strangest fact in this whole story, and it's about the physical structure of your eye. Look at a human eye. There's a dark circle in the middle, a colored ring, and then a large area of bright white on either side. That white is unusual. Across the primates, across many species, the visible portion of the eye tends to be much darker and much closer in tone to the iris, which makes it far harder to tell exactly where an animal is looking. Humans are a striking exception. Our eyes are high contrast. The white makes the dark center obvious, which means anyone looking at your face can tell instantly and precisely what you are looking at, and whether your eyes just close. Think about what that implies. Concealing your gaze is useful. It's useful when hunting. It's useful in conflict. It's useful anytime you don't want another creature to know your intentions. And humans went the other way. The leading explanation is that we became a species whose survival depended so heavily on cooperation that being readable was worth more than being unreadable. It's a hypothesis, not a settled fact, but it reframes everything. Your eyes may be built, in part, to broadcast, which is why you're right to be nervous. The signal is genuinely there, and people have been trying to read it for a very long time. Because here's the constant problem running through all of human history. People lie, and there has never been a reliable way to tell. Every society has faced this, and every society has invented something. Some of it was brutal, ordeals, where a person's guilt was judged by whether their body reacted the right way to pain or danger, which is not a truth test. It's a test of pain tolerance, dress up as justice. Then came the long tradition of reading truth in the face itself, the belief that character and honesty are visible in features and expressions. It was taken seriously for centuries. It generated books, systems, schools of thought, and almost all of it was confident nonsense. People saw what they expected to see in the faces of people they already suspected, but the underlying wish never went away. And eventually, we tried to solve it with a machine. In the 20th century, the polygraph arrived, promising to do what human judgment couldn't: measure the body and read the truth off the dial. And it's important to be precise here. The polygraph does measure real things: heart rate, breathing, sweat. Those genuinely change under stress. The problem was never the sensors. The problem is the leap, because stress is not deception. An innocent person who is terrified of being falsely accused produces the same arousal as a guilty person who is afraid of being caught. The machine can see the arousal. It cannot see why. And this is the flaw that runs through every attempt in this story. From ordeals to physiognomy to the polygraph, they all detect something real, they just can't tell you what it means. Which brings us to now and to why I wanted to make this video. Because we are in the middle of doing it again with better equipment and the same mistake. There are systems that watch people through cameras and make judgments about them. Software that monitors students during remote exams and flags them for looking away too often, or for eye movement it decides is suspicious. Systems that analyze, record interviews, and score candidates on facial behavior. The pitch is that a machine is more objective than a person, and in a narrow sense, it can measure more precisely. It can absolutely count your blinks more accurately than a human interviewer can. But counting was never the hard part. The hard part is the meaning. And the meaning is where all of this has always fallen apart. A student who looks away might be cheating, or thinking, or has a condition affecting their eye movement, or is exhausted, or is simply the kind of person who looks up when concentrating. The camera sees one thing. The reasons are many. We have built a very precise instrument and pointed it at a genuinely ambiguous signal. And there's one more problem, which is the part I find genuinely difficult. Go back to what actually raises your blink rate. Stress, arousal, the feeling of being evaluated. Now, put someone in front of a camera, tell them it is analyzing their face and that their job or their degree depends on it. You have just created the exact condition that produces the signal you claim to be detecting. The measurement generates the thing it measures. It's the same trap as the polygraph, rebuilt with better cameras. The most nervous person in the room is not the least honest person in the room. Very often they are the person who most needs the outcome to go well.